See, that's the thing. He was the only one that would call to pray with me. And that's where, as a Christian, that's one of the easiest W's to be had. It's easy to say, oh, I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to put you on my list. And we're going to, absolutely, I'll pray for you. But the easiest thing to do is actually to be there with that person and pray with them. How much more would it mean if you sat with them and prayed with them? And then you could tell by the tone of my voice changing a little bit, it drives me up a wall how some Christians are. And this is not me, and please don't mistake my words for me coming at somebody directly, because I see it all over the place. And my situation is not necessarily unique. Pastor Franklin was there praying with me. That whole event, that time, that thing where the church in general, the congregation pretty much dropped the ball. That's what kind of led to me eventually taking my family and leaving. And they probably have no idea. Oh, well. But I mean, it's like, and I'm not going to get into, you know what? Yeah, no, I'm going to get into it. Let me get into it. The church really, four main functions of the church, four basic functions of the church. If you don't have this stuff, you ought to be working towards these four things. Number one, the church has to be a house of prayer, right? How you can't be a church, you can't be a house of prayer if you don't have your doors open on days other than Sunday. Let's set that aside real quick. The next thing is really, you should find sound biblical teaching in the church, right? That's another big pillar. That almost goes without saying. To break it down even more, sound biblical teaching, I'm talking about like proper theology, not politics, not social justice, not gender, like all of these other things that we apply, that humanity seems to apply to theology. Scrap all of that, right? Sound biblical teaching straight from the Bible, adding nothing else to it, taking away nothing from it. That's the way it should be. That's two, right? So first thing is it has to be a house of prayer, which means it has to be open, which means people need to be praying in it, right? Two, you have to have a pastor who's preaching, or a preacher who's preaching, reverend is preaching, whoever it is preaching sound biblical doctrine. Solid. They have to be solid in their theology. Full stop, right? The third one, it has to be a place where fellow believers can gather and support fellow believers. So it's just like, okay, so it has to be a place where believers can gather with believers and support one another through everything, through all of it. Again, full stop. And the last one is just as important, but it's called to be that, lighthouse on the hill, right? Meaning it's the place where both believers and non-believers, where they can go to receive help, assistance, support. So in other words, the church should be reaching out to the community that it's in to help people, whether that be by food, book bags, whatever it may be, clothes, whatever it is, counseling, name it. They should be there to help support that for the community that it's in, right? I thought at some point, like, look, I thought that was a given. Like every church has that. Not every church has that. So this has nothing to do with, oh, he's just church hurt, whatever is rolling out. You're missing the basic functions of a church. That's why I left. And I don't think I would have had my father not passed away. Again, him passing away made me look at everything very differently. New perspective now. So that was one of the big changes. Just one.